Anna has won, but not at anyone's expense. Anna has won, the people have won with Anna, and in a way so has Parliament by agreeing to what Anna actually suggested and said. Meghnad, Lord Meghnad Desai, welcome. Nirmala Sitharaman, welcome. Aarti Jairath, welcome. Nikhil De, thank you for coming. And I want to first ask you, Prasoon, that, Prasoon, welcome. When we were in the middle of this Parliament debate, you penned something. And it is very relevant in the context of what eventually happened in Parliament, that they did pass the bill the bill in the way that Anna Hazare wanted, and perhaps a little bit more. Could you please share what you wrote this morning, which you SMS'd me and which we put together as a video?
Yes. I wrote a very small 7-8 lines which I'll share. Basically looking at what was happening, and whatever I was sensing is that बहस नहीं एहसास चाहिए, बहस नहीं एहसास चाहिए, एक लंबी सी सांस चाहिए, बहस नहीं एहसास चाहिए, एक लंबी सी सांस चाहिए, बड़ी दूर है संसद मुझसे, बड़ी दूर है संसद मुझसे, अब तो थोड़ा पास चाहिए, अब तो थोड़ा पास चाहिए, बहस नहीं एहसास चाहिए, तर्क हटाओ फर्क दिखाओ, तर्क हटाओ फर्क दिखाओ, सच्ची सी कोई बात सुनाओ, दिल से निकले दिल तक पहुंचे, ऐसा भी कोई तीर चलाओ, नहीं मुझे कुछ खास चाहिए, एक लंबी सी सांस चाहिए, बड़ी दूर है संसद मुझसे, अब तो थोड़ा पास चाहिए.
Basic sentiment. Lord Meghnad Desai, basic sentiment that he expresses here, which we feel today, that there is a need for accountability in the political class, and they also feel they need to tell the people that the voice is being heard. You think that has happened today?
Yes, I think today is a real triumph of Indian democracy. Parliament maintained its supremacy, Parliament maintained its standards and procedures, but at the same time Parliament said they are listening and they changed their procedure. They met on a Saturday, appreciated the urgency and responded. I think this is a good result for India, a good result for civil society, and a good result for Parliament. We should celebrate.
Oh yes, it is. It's a tremendous celebration. Oh, yes. How do you read it, Aarti?
Well, Arnab, I mean, there's no question. It's been a great victory, and a really important issue has come up front on center stage and so on. There are three big positives I see in this whole thing that has happened, this whole movement. One is that after 2 decades of divisive slogans on caste lines, on communal lines, religious lines, after 2 decades we've had a unifying slogan, something that unites the entire country, all classes, all creeds, all ages, everybody. And I think that's really a great start. I hope that we can put these 2 decades of divisiveness and violence and bloodshed behind us and really move forward working together as a nation. So I think that's a real watershed for us. Number 2, the second thing is this whole assertion of the will of the people, because as you've been saying constantly on your channel, and you said again just now, that for after a long time Parliament heard the voice of the people. And yes, Parliament met the people halfway, and I think that's a great beginning. And I hope we're going to see not just we've seen sectional and we've seen interest groups assert their will, but this is the first time we've seen the people as a whole assert their will and get involved in this whole process of lawmaking. I mean, the amount I've learnt about the Lokpal bill over the last few weeks is just incredible. I mean, I'm a journalist, so and it was great to see young people out there talking about issues rather than going to see movies or shopping at malls or just sort of hanging around in restaurants and so on. So I think that's a great thing. And the third thing is that I also sense this generational change coming.
Yes.
Because there's no question there was a very big difference in the reaction of young MPs and the reaction of the old guard, which is, you know, sort of still, I think, locked into old structures, old political structures, old caste structures, and have a degree of cynicism. Young people responded really fast and quickly to the mood on the streets. And you could see that, you know, I think that there was a lot of talk that went on within party circles, behind scenes and so on. Young people saying, listen, we've got to do something about this.
Yes.
And I think that's very positive, because it's time really for that generational shift to take place in our politics.
Yeah, you know, I also feel, as one of the best things which has happened, Prasoon, is that, you know, we have somehow had a feeling, we as in, on issues of great national concern, terrorism, say Pakistan, say economic reforms, the inequity in our society, Maoist violence, and of course on corruption and scams. Whenever a non-politician used to speak before, then the response used to be, oh, you're either uninterested, you're uninvolved, take part in elections and then talk, or you have no right to speak, or your cocktail circuit. You're not part of the establishment. Yeah. Please stay in your space. That used to be the argument that was given. Now I don't think, after today, that argument can be given with that ease anymore. Don't you think, Prasoon? That argument cannot be given anymore.
You know, absolutely. I think the distance has reduced, the involvement has increased. I think the biggest thing for me has been that, you know, I think people, if they want, they can raise the bar very high. People talked about the kind of, you know, discussions which happened in Parliament today. The level was higher. Who started it? People demanded that. So if people want, they will get a better governance. People will get better from their own government. Another thing I noticed, that how focused people were. It is very easy to say for 12 days, you know, so much of tension was there and people behaved themselves. Why did people behave themselves? Because they were very focused and clear that if we go haywire, we will be, you know, damaging our own movement. They were so focused about the fact that they wanted something out of it. They did not want lip service. It is a historical thing. I can see there were problems. Something which was waiting for 43 years has happened, has moved on. There must be so many hurdles which were, you know, not seen. It is unprecedented. And in fact, I feel a lot of people are still behaving as if it was a dream which has just gone by, passed us by. It was not a dream, it is a new reality. And we will have to face this new reality, where media is going to play a role, where transparency is going to be at the forefront. People would ask, and I think it's a sign of a healthy democracy. And I think that's what has begun today.
I think it's a moment of great change. And Prasoon, may I say that in all of this, you know, your two poems, I'm going to play out the videos later, especially the poem called Mashal, epitomized the mood of the nation. Lord Desai, just coming to you. Now tell me, not as a BJP leader, Nirmala, not as a BJP leader, just as a politician, how will politicians accept younger India, more assertive India, seeking a voice and a say and seeking answers more directly from their elected and even non-elected representatives?
Well, I think today the conduct of the Parliament has very clearly shown that it can rise to the occasion, and certainly has responded very gracefully. Across the board, all parties have spoken so well, and you saw the quality of debate, not just yesterday, but I think in the last few days we are seeing Parliament debates really standing up to the challenge which is being posed. And being in politics today, I feel very proud that this country has asked the right kind of questions, given the system a good shake-up.
Yes.
And definitely the Parliament has stood up to the challenge, understood that it has to get closer to the people, and very clearly on corruption, now nobody is speaking in two different voices.
Yeah, I hope
all
so.
All of us are together.
I hope so.
And we'll certainly have to keep our vigil, and we'll certainly have to be sure that we get some powerful, good Lokpal, which will be...
I hope so. I sincerely hope so. Nirmala, I hope so, because, you know, it would be wonderful if nobody speaks in two different voices on corruption, but I don't want to be overly optimistic. I want to see that in play. I want to see that in action. I would also like to say here, without trying to be a spoiler, that must be remembered that Parliament addressed this issue, but it was not in a totally voluntary way. Parliament was goaded and pushed by a man who managed to capture the people's pulse, and therefore the political class had to respond. It was made to respond, and that must not be forgotten.
No, there's no doubt about it. The way in which the peaceful protest happened and the moral authority with which an elderly person was sitting fasting for a particular cause which impinges on every one of our lives, and every individual is a sufferer in some way or the other. You saw that definitely going and making an impact where it should make an impact.
Yes, but
I think a lot of confidence has been restored to our democracy.
True, but
we are not a democracy which is dormant.
No.
It is really a live democracy, and all of us are playing our role. The media has been particularly very clear on how it wanted to show that the people everywhere, not just in Delhi, are out on the streets. Small towns, people were coming out and saying, yes, enough is enough, we need to get this bill through. And therefore, I think everyone has played their role, and it showed a difference.
I think, you know, I've never believed in cynicism, and when history is being made, it's our responsibility to show it. Prashant Bhushan is joining us, but before that, Lord Meghnad Desai, you raised your hand there, going across to Lord Meghnad Desai. Prashant Bhushan, by the way, welcome and congratulations. I'm coming to you in a minute. Lord Desai.
First thing is, a lot of people in civil society have learned how Parliament works and why at certain times Parliament has to take its own time to get things done. But Parliament has also learned that they can't just be on their high horse and say, if you want to do something, get elected, otherwise you have no inroad into Parliament. Parliament has learned that civil society can have a variety of ways to pressurize them to improve the act, to get the act together and get a better legislation. This is just the beginning. This is not the end. Again and again, the civil society will have to pressurize and have to learn a little bit better about it, and Parliament will have to adapt.
Absolutely. I think they will have to.
That is what, it's a learn process for both sides.
I think they will have to. And all of us will have to work together to ensure some great continuity to the process. Prashant Bhushan, welcome. Thank you for coming. I won't ask you what I've asked everyone, what it simply means, but tell me, did at some point of time, you know, when you came out this afternoon, you seemed genuinely upset about 3 o'clock. The Arvind Kejriwal came and said, we are being cheated once again. Can you tell our viewers what was happening in those last moments, and did you at some point, you know, give up hope of this coming through in the last moments in Parliament?
Well, there were lots of ups and downs in this, and till the last moment we were not sure of what was going to happen. And in fact, last night, as I said, we were given to understand that this would be a resolution which would be put to vote containing these 3 issues which Annaji had mentioned in his letter to the Prime Minister. But then when I spoke to Mr. Salman Khurshid in the afternoon, he told me that there would be no resolution, there would be no vote, and in fact some sense of the House would be conveyed which was also very vague. I mean, the sense was that these 3 issues need to be considered by the Standing Committee. And at that point I felt quite cheated, because I felt that this doesn't mean anything at all. And that's why when I came out, I conveyed those feelings. Unfortunately, at least something moved after that, and at least the Prime Minister has said that this is a resolution, or whatever it is, it clearly expresses a view of Parliament that the Lokpal bill should contain these 3 issues.
But it's a very hard-fought victory, Prashant Bhushan, I must say, for you. Very hard.
No, it is. It is. Well, I must congratulate Arvind Kejriwal and his team of very young volunteers. Of course, the main credit must go to Anna Hazare for his resoluteness, for his foresightedness, even for his political astuteness, for him to be able to judge what is achievable, what is possible, and resolutely go for that. I think it's a great tribute eventually to the young people of this country that they have for once on this one issue at least risen up, shown their capacity and capability to engage with important public issues of our time, shed off their lethargy, shed off their cynicism. And I think that has been, to my mind, the greatest achievement of this campaign.
Yes.
Also, this ability to make a campaign which bridges the class divides and spans the entire range of classes and people, cutting across all economic classes, social classes, etc. I think that's really the main achievement of this campaign, quite apart from showing the power of democracy and what democracy really means. It doesn't really mean just casting your vote once in 5 years and then forgetting about it and allowing the people who have got elected to
I think
pass any laws, to adopt any policies.
I think this is a very it's a very temporary addressing the issue of a trust deficit that has built among the people. I think there is going to have to be a lot that will have to be done, even taking this whole forward, because while we celebrate today, we must not forget how hard fought this victory is. Only 13 days back, there was an arrest, there was mutual recrimination, there were denials, there were stories this way and stories that way, there was a lack of political consensus, and at the end of the day, as I go to Nikhil, I just want to go to Nikhil once. The fact is, why did this happen? It was precipitated to the end it came to because there was one man fasting. That man cannot keep fasting every time.